Well, it's time now for the 3-2-1 for Nebraska's running back position. 3 things we learned, 2 questions, and 1 prediction. And I think when you look at the running back position, one of the things we learned, it's hard not to start with Devino Zigbo and what he did this year, being Nebraska's first 1,000-yard rusher since 2014. But really the better story is how he hung in there. I think most of us ruled Zigbo out in the spring, and even in August, he didn't get a lot of conversation. It was all centered around Greg Bell and Maurice Washington, and just how he hung in there and to become that first 1,000-yard back from 2014, that was really one of the better stories at the running back position. Second thing we learned here with the running back position are the fumbles. Nebraska's top 2 backs, Maurice Washington and Devino Zigbo, had a combined 1 fumble on the season. You got to really credit Ryan HOL. He did a great job developing these guys. The fact that a guy like Ozigbo and even a freshman like Washington finished the year with just a combined 1 fumble. And by the way, Ozigbo had no fumbles on the year. That was an impressive stat to build on. And then finally, number 3, I think Ryan HOL should get a lot of credit. I mean, he managed that running back position and developed guys as well as we've seen in the last several years at Nebraska. He's gotten so much out of his players early on, and he's already recruited more backs in 1 year than the previous Mike Riley staff did in their entire 3 years. So just his ability to add new blood, develop it, work it in, it's really exciting to see what Ryan HOL has done here at Nebraska. Now it's time for my 2 questions with the running back position. I think number 1 for me is how much growth can we see out of Maurice Washington? Most thought that he played the year under 180 pounds. You hear grumblings that they'd like him to be in that 195 to 205 range. What will a winter and a summer with Zach Duvall do for the body of Maurice Washington? And then my second question for the running back position revolves around Dedrick Mills, Nebraska's junior college transfer back from Garden City Community College. He led the nation in rushing yards. He played Division I football before at Georgia Tech. How will Nebraska work in a guy like Mills? And last year they kind of learned with someone like Greg Bell. I mean, it doesn't always work. Greg Bell had the exact same resume as a Dedrick Mills. So how is Mills going to be different from Bell? I think that's one of my questions I have going forward. I think the one thing, though, you could say about Mills is he's already put up Division I Power 5 numbers. He had 900-plus yards rushing as a true freshman for Georgia Tech. And then finally, at running back, here's my prediction for 2019. Maurice Washington will get 1,000 yards, and he'll get it easily. I think Nebraska's offense is only going to continue to grow, and I look for Washington to be an all-Big Ten level guy and someone that's going to get over 1,000 yards next year. And he's also obviously going to be a very good player as a receiver, as we saw in the Iowa game when he had over 100 yards receiving in Nebraska's final game of the season. Well, that wraps it up here for our 3-2-1 at running back. Next, we'll break down Nebraska's wide receivers.